In this video, we're going to be going over how to create a custom audience for your Facebook ads. So what you want to do is head over to the left bar over here. And when you hover over it, it's going to expand. And we want to go down and click on audiences. Once you click on that, it's going to pull up another page right here. And you're going to see a couple different options. So you can use a custom audience. You can use lookalike audiences or a saved audience. These are just different demographics and different information about the type of people you're trying to reach. And you can use these in your actual ad. Lookalike audiences are based off people that look like your current audience, based off people who like your page or have interacted with your pixel or any of your custom audiences. And saved audience is what we're going to want to use. This is where you can choose all the interests and demographics and other things for your actual audiences that you can use in future ads. So we're going to click create a saved audience here, and we can name our audience. So I'm just going to type in audience example 1. And then if we had any custom audiences we've already created, we could choose those down here. And we would just click in and we could choose from our lookalike or custom, and then even add exclusions. So if people are on a certain audience list, we could say we want ones who are on this list, but not on this list. And then when we go down, this is where we can do the actual targeting. And one thing to look at over here is the estimated audience size. If you're doing too narrow of targeting, then this is going to be way too low and your ad's not going to be shown to enough people and have trouble being able to spend the actual full budget. Whereas if your audience is this huge, then it's going to spend a lot on people that might not be interested. So it can be good to narrow this down when you're creating the audience. So we can choose specific locations here. So right now we're in the United States. Let's say I wanted to target people in Chicago. Chicago, Illinois, this city, yes. So now we can see how much this audience size has changed. It's now at 4.7 to 5.6 million people because it's only targeting people in Chicago right now because that's what I chose. And you can choose the radius as well. If I wanted to make it bigger or smaller, I could. So we'll just say we'll leave it right here. And then we could add other locations or drop the pin as well. Next, you have your age that you can choose. Now, we don't want to go under 18. Other restrictions and things come into play there. It's easiest and most simple just to keep it 18 plus. And then you can choose how old you want your audience. So let's say we're aiming at a younger audience. Maybe we'll go 18 to 40 here. And we can see that dropped the estimated audience by about half again here. So let's pretend we're an online business. We don't really care about the location right now, so we'll leave that empty. Gender, you can choose men or women. If you are making a specific audience for one or the other, or you want to make them separate, you can do that as well. Languages, we want to make sure people are speaking the language we are advertising in. And then we get down to detailed targeting. So this is where we can add things like demographics, interests, or behaviors. If you click browse, you'll get a dropdown and you can go more into behaviors or interests or demographics. So when you get demographics, you can go by their education level, what they studied, what schools they went to, their undergrad years. Financials, you can do it by income, life events, parents. There's a lot of different demographics you can do as well as interests. So you can see there's a ton of different options here, and you can see when you hover over it, the size of the potential audience that you have here. You can also type in things. So let's say I wanted to target people who are into fashion. I'm going to type in fashion and scroll down and see people who are into maybe a certain page or a certain interest, maybe Fashion Nova here. I want to click that. Now, you can see I clicked that thinking, oh, this is the page. I want people who are interested in that. But this is targeting people who work there. So I'm going to remove that because that is not what we wanted. And we'll type into fashion and we want it to be under interests. So fashion design, this is an interest right here. We hover over, we can see the size, 347 million potential people, and we can add that. Now, if we wanted to narrow the audience down more, we would click this narrow button. And they must also match another preset requisite that we add. So they must be interested in fashion and design And let's say we're trying to sell wedding dresses. So they're interested in fashion and under life events. We can scroll down and do newly engaged. And maybe we'll add 1 year, 3 months, or 6 months. So let's say we'll do 6 months here. So they're into fashion, they're newly engaged, and maybe they live in a certain area. And when it says the estimates may vary significantly, this is if you have usually too big or too small of an audience. So if I were to go in and put this location back, it should give us a better audience size. So you can see it is very, very small now. This is too small unless you are in a very specific location here. Maybe we can change this to 50, and it's still not great. That's very small. You usually want 1 to 2 million people unless you're doing a specific location here. And then we could also add exclusions. And if I wanted to narrow it down, I could exclude certain people that match another demographic or interest or behavior. And one thing we have to do before actually saving this audience, which since I deleted the location up here, is you have to have some location. So I'm just going to choose United States because that is where I want these ads. You can choose worldwide if you want to. I'm just going to choose United States for this one. And you can see the audience size. And I'm going to click create saved audience here. And it's going to save this audience. It says it's ready. We can use this. So audience example 1. And when we go and create our actual ad now, and once we're in our ad campaign, when we're setting it up, if we want to go and change our audience or add this, you're going to click this new leads ad set. So in your ad set, so in our ad set, if we scroll down here, all the way down, you'll see audience. What we want to do is click used saved audience up here. And we see our one right here. We're going to click on that. And boom, it used that save audience that we just created, the newly engaged, fashion design, English, etc. And it shows us our estimated reach and how many leads we could expect from this. Again, we made a very small audience, which is why that this is so small. You would not want a audience this small when running an ad. So that is how you can create custom audiences.